Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Monday, 10th February 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. U.S. top diplomat says the Trump government backs international mission in Haiti. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Thursday last that the United States backed an international security mission in Haiti but wanted a broader solution in the troubled country that includes economic stimulus. Rubio signed waivers to a sweeping ban on aid by President Donald Trump to allow assistance to the multinational force. More in this France 24 English news item.
U.S. has committed $41 million in aid to bolster state security in Haiti. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, issued a waiver to approve the funds, backtracking on President Trump's recent freeze on virtually all foreign aid programs. Speaking in the Dominican Republic, Rubio said it was important to eliminate armed gangs, which control over 80% of the capital, Port-au-Prince.
Unfortunately, today much of that territory is controlled by dangerous, well-armed gangs, and that has to be dealt with. That's why the first objective is to pacify and put an end to that situation. And at this moment, the only option is the current mission, and we will continue to support it.
Rubio's comments come as around 200 Kenyan police officers arrived in Haiti to shore up security. They arrived in Port-au-Prince as part of an ongoing UN-approved mission, adding to the 600 other Kenyans already working alongside Haitian National Police.
We're engaged in a battle between good and evil, because a gang that kills children and rapes others is evil. We in the government and our international partners who are helping us have decided to put an end to insecurity, and it won't be for long.
Haiti's foreign minister recently commended the efforts but asked the UN to transform this security mission into a peacekeeping one, with a clear mandate, adequate resources and increased expertise.
Voice of America reports the Essequibo region in question has been under Guyana's control for more than a century, and it is Venezuela that has failed to maintain its own obligations to law and peace.
On January 27th, Secretary of State Marco Rubio reaffirmed the United States' steadfast support for Guyana's sovereignty over the Essequibo region, which is disputed by Venezuela. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Ivan Gil responded on January 28th, calling Rubio an enemy of our country, who continues to show his unhealthy obsession with harming Venezuela. Now, Rubio seeks to support the fantasies of the Guyanese government, which aims to strip us of the historic rights bequeathed to us by our liberators, and which are an inalienable part of our sovereignty. That is misleading. Addressing Guyanese officials, Hill said their obligations are to history, international law, and regional peace, not to third parties. However, Guyana has adhered to UN guidelines drawn up in 1966 to resolve the dispute, while Venezuela has proceeded with a series of moves violating its obligations under international law. After the two sides failed to reach an agreement in 2018, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres chose the International Court of Justice, the only international court that adjudicates general disputes between nations, to settle the Essequibo dispute. But Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has repeatedly disputed the court's jurisdiction on the matter. In December 2023, Venezuela held a popular referendum on whether to incorporate Essequibo into Venezuelan territory, which was deemed illegal by the Organization of American States. Then, Maduro ordered the creation of a new Venezuelan state called Guyana Essequiba and publicized a new map with Essequibo shown as part of Venezuela. In March 2024, the Venezuelan National Assembly passed a law recognizing Essequibo as a Venezuelan state, although Venezuela's Supreme Court must rule on the constitutionality of that law before it can go into effect. Analysts have suggested that Maduro used the Essequibo issue to drum up popular support in the run-up to the July 2024 election, which the opposition credibly says he stole.
In other news, the new top cop of Trinidad and Tobago is vowing to restore trust in the police service. TV6 News has some details with Alexander Brucewall.
Benjamin received his instrument of appointment from the Police Service Commission's office just off Paje Main Road in Tunapuna.
I'm now acting Commissioner of Police.
Kurt Simon will now be acting Deputy Commissioner of Police, also received his instrument of appointment. Speaking with the media as they exited the building, Benjamin first thanked God for being allowed to act in this role as the country's newest top cop. However, he did acknowledge that the timing of it was troublesome.
I want to take the opportunity to reassure Trinidad and Tobago at this time, for total commitment to ensure that we seek to rebuild that trust in the police service. We recognize that the police service has been through a tough time and continues to be through a tough time. But even in this time of healing, there are officers and leaders who are very much able to make a difference.
Benjamin says he is committed to rebuilding the morale of the organization and explains that he will be looking at various ways to ensure that crime reduction is a priority.
We want to ensure that we have a robust strategy to reduce crime, and that must be something that must be a priority at this time. And therefore, we will be looking at those strategies and ensuring that even after the SOP, that we have something sustainable that will have to be made for the once again safe again.
He told reporters that his first order of business would be to sit down with the heads of all 10 policing divisions in the country and ensure that there is a strategic plan for the organization to fulfill its purpose. Alexander Brucewall, TV6 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Investigators on Friday returned to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions in Trinidad and Tobago for further advice regarding possible charges against Commissioner of Police Erla Harewood Christopher for her involvement in the importation of 2 sniper rifles which were found at the Strategic Services Agency sometime in late 2023. TV6 News has more.
The commissioner was arrested last Thursday and released 2 days later, but she was suspended by the Police Service Commission. She was ordered to cease reporting for duty until further notice, and DCP Junior Benjamin was nominated and later appointed Acting Commissioner of Police on Thursday, receiving his instruments of appointments from the PSC. The commissioner, through her lawyer, Pamela Elder, filed for judicial review, challenging the PSC's decision to suspend her. And Justice Sechan granted her leave to pursue her case on the same day Benjamin was approved by the House of Representatives. Justice Sechan refused the commissioner's application to stop Benjamin from being appointed acting commissioner.
The development of an energy roadmap and green print for the OECS and sustainable development action in relation to renewable energy in the sub-region was some of the key highlights from the 2-day third meeting of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States OECS Council of Ministers on Energy. Andre Huey of SKN Newsline reports.
The development of an energy roadmap or green print for the OECS and sustainable development actions in relation to renewable energy in the sub-region were some of the key highlights from the 2-day third meeting of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States OECS Council of Ministers Energy. Chairman of the Council of Ministers Energy and also the St. Kitts Nevis Energy Minister Conrys Maynard, in providing a synopsis of the major decisions taken at the meeting, expressed the need for a strategic approach towards the OECS Energy Green Print.
As mentioned by Chamberlain, we have effectively mandated that instead of simply identifying the items to be done, that there must be timelines associated with them. And given that we face an existential threat, really, with the situation of the fluidity of fossil fuels and their prices and the economic woes that we are facing as a result of that fluidity, we have no choice but to make these things now a reality. It's no longer a case where it is a dream that is that seems years off. We are living the reality right now when we are spending, I understand in one territory, 40 odd cents, US cents per kilowatt hour, when renewable energy through solar can give us 5 and 6 cents. So it's an economic reality that will force the results that we need. That is why the green print, for instance, is particularly important, because we want each member state to know that this is what is expected and when it is expected, and to provide the resources or the direction on how it can be done. So I'm really optimistic that with the thrust that we're picking up around the region, and with the new realities that exist in the global sphere, that we will have no choice but to succeed on some of these major goals that we have set out.
The landmark strategy discussed at the meetings is designed to drive economic transformation through sustainable energy over the next decade across OECS countries through the endorsement of the OECS Sustainable Energy Roadmap 2025 to 2035. But how will this be funded? A question OECS Director General Dr. Didicus Jules sought to address.
It should also be noted that aside from the financial analysis and projections that Minister described, the Chairman described, that there was also a very robust discussion on ways in which some of this could be possibly self-financed, because when we look at the impact of putting in place those green technologies, the green pathway we're talking about, there will be substantial savings. So there are scenarios being looked at that would determine how can we achieve this, even if we were not to get the anticipated levels of external funding that we are seeking. So that it is important that we achieve this by any means. So we are looking at multiple options for financing.
The third meeting of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Council of Ministers Energy was held over 2 days, February 4th and 5th, at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
Over in Guyana, a senior policeman has been officially dismissed from the force following a recommendation from the tribunal established to investigate multiple allegations of misconduct. Travis Chase of HGP Nightly News has the details on this developing story.
The Police Service Commission said it has formally notified Embattled Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus that he has been dismissed from the Guyana Police Force with immediate effect. A release from the Police Service Commission said that it deliberated upon a report of a tribunal appointed by the PSC, and based upon recommendations of that tribunal, it moved to dismiss Brutus from the Guyana Police Force. Quote, "You are hereby notified that the Commission has determined that you should be and are hereby dismissed from the Guyana Police Force effective February 5, 2025. Unquote, the PSC Secretary Jagabin Jai Singh told Mr. Brutus. The PSC said that the former Assistant Commissioner of Police has been dismissed for breaches of discipline and discreditable conduct which he allegedly committed while performing duties of Deputy Commissioner of Police Administration in the Guyana Police Force during the period of August 2020 to July 2024. It was former chairman of the Police Service Commission, Paul Slow, whose crystal ball saw that the very tribunal would have dismissed Brutus.
There is only one aim of that tribunal, one, to dismiss Brutus. So regardless whether he participate or not, at the end of the tribunal, or as the sergeant call it, the tribal union, he is going to be dismissed.
The PSC also informed Mr. Brutus that the Commissioner of Police Clifton Hicken has been informed to take all actions necessary to facilitate Brutus's handover and return of all documents, equipment, and other assets belonging to the Guyana Police Force currently in his possession. When contacted by Nightly News on Wednesday, Mr. Brutus told Nightly News that he has not been officially informed that he has been fired from the Guyana Police Force. Mr. Brutus is facing more than 200 fraud-related charges. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.